If these waters could talk, they'd tell the story of a changing nation. You're looking at Pyrmont today, a landscape of premium waterfront living, sleek offices and quiet marinas. But for over a century, this was the industrial heartbeat of Sydney. It was a place of iron, sweat and coal, but more importantly, it was a gateway. For generations of migrants who left everything behind to build a new life in Australia, this very harbour was the backdrop to their first unforgettable glimpse of their new home. It's where thousands of families literally set foot on Australian soil for the first time. Walking past Wharf 7, we are looking at the Maritime Heritage Wharf. Unlike the residential developments further down, this section has remained completely dedicated to preserving Australia's seafaring soul. It serves as the home base for the Sydney Heritage Fleet and houses historical archives, ship plans and records. It's a great reminder of what this harbour used to look like. Before the modern offices and luxury apartments took over, this entire stretch was a forest of wooden masts, smoke, and industrial rigging. As we move down to Wharves 8 and 9, you can see how Sydney has blended its gritty maritime past with ultra-premium real estate. To appreciate what you're looking at, you have to look back to 1924. From that year onwards, these finger wharves were the first and last port of call for passenger ships travelling to and from Britain, Europe and Asia. For thousands of post-war immigrants from Italy, Greece, Malta and beyond, this very spot was where they first stepped ashore onto their new homeland. It was loud, industrial and filled with the anxiety and hope of people starting from absolute zero. Nearby, that history is still honoured on the welcome wall outside the Maritime Museum. By the late 20th century, the shipping industry moved out, and for a time these wharves even served as the temporary home of Sydney's casino until they were demolished in 2005. Today, this is the Sydney Wharf Apartments complex, the only residential wharf development on the harbour engineered and rebuilt entirely from the seabed up. The architecture deliberately mimics the old warehouse look on the outside, but inside it is pure luxury. The real estate values here are astronomical. A standard 3-bedroom penthouse commands a price tag of around $6 million, featuring 6-metre ceilings and private rooftop terraces. Even just securing a place to park your boat in the private marina out front will cost you. A single 17-metre marina berth leasehold sells for just under $1 million, plus thousands more in annual strata levies. It is a striking contrast. The exact same geographic footprint that once welcomed broke, working class migrants stepping off crowded steamships is now one of the most exclusive million-dollar enclaves for luxury yachts and elite waterfront living in Australia. If you enjoy exploring this historic slice of Sydney Harbour, hit that like button. It's completely free and it really helps get these videos out to more people just like you. Just a short distance back from the water sits the Star Sydney, New South Wales' first and premier integrated resort and entertainment complex. It actually traces its roots back to September 1995, when it first opened its doors as a temporary gambling venue called Sydney Harbour Casino, built right on top of the old Wharves 12 and 13. 2 years later, in late 1995, the permanent complex opened as Star City. It was an absolute massive undertaking built on the historic footprint of the old Pyrmont power station. Back then, the building was famously criticised for turning its back on Pyrmont and the harbour looking completely inward. But that changed around 2011 when the complex underwent a massive near $1 billion facelift. It dropped the city from its name to become just the Star and completely flipped its architecture around, opening up a grand glass facade that finally faced the water. Today, it is a city within a city. Beyond the expansive, high-stakes gaming floors, it houses ultra-luxury hotels like the Darling, a world-class day spa, and the iconic 2,000-seat Sydney Lyric Theatre. It's also a major culinary hub for the city, home to award-winning signature restaurants like Sokyo and Black Bar and Grill. It is a massive evolution from a simple 90s gambling palace to a complete entertainment destination. What makes Pyrmont such a fascinating pocket of Sydney is how seamlessly connected it is, despite feeling like a quiet, private peninsula. Getting in and out of here is a showcase of Sydney's modern transit network. If you look out at the water, you'll occasionally spot the commuter ferries gliding past, connecting Pymont Bay directly to Circular Quay, Barangaroo, and the Balmain Peninsula. It's arguably one of the most scenic commutes in the world. Running parallel to the streets is the Sydney Light Rail network. The L1 Dulwich Hill line cuts right through Pyrmont with dedicated stops at the fish markets, John Street Square, and the Star itself, providing a direct link straight into Central Station. For those on foot like us, the entire area is stitched together by award-winning foreshore boardwalks. You can walk entirely from the CBD across the historic Pyrmont Bridge and weave your way through these heritage wharves all the way down to Blackwattle Bay. Whether it's by rail, road or water, this old industrial hub has become one of the most accessible and walkable spaces in the entire city. What truly ties this entire peninsula together isn't just the history or the luxury apartments, it's the incredible sense of community that thrives here. Pyrmont has this distinct village-like feel that you rarely find right on the edge of a major global city centre. Every year, the waterfront at Pyrmont Park completely transforms to host the famous Pyrmont Food and Wine Festival. It's a massive community-run celebration that draws crowds from all over Sydney, partnering with regional New South Wales wine country to bring dozens of wineries, craft breweries and gourmet food trucks right onto the harbour lawns. But the energy doesn't stop when the festival tents pack up. On any given week, this neighbourhood is buzzing with local happenings. From masterclasses at the nearby Sydney Seafood School to locals catching up for coffee along the foreshore. It is an incredible evolution. This peninsula has successfully transformed from a gritty, rough industrial port into one of the most warm, active and deeply connected communities in the city. Moving further along the foreshore, we cross over onto Darling Island. Looking at it today, surrounded by manicured parklands and slick corporate headquarters like Google, you would never guess the massive topographical and historical shift that occurred right under our feet. Before European settlement, this wasn't a neat peninsula at all. It was a rugged, isolated mudflat and rock outcrop known to the local Gadigal people as a rich site for gathering shellfish. In the mid-1800s, everything changed. Industrialists completely levelled the island's rock, using the stone to build sea walls and a permanent causeway, physically locking it to the Pyrmont mainland. It quickly evolved into a massive industrial complex packed with iron foundries, shipyards, and engineering workshops. If you look at the buildings here, the historic standout is the Revy, otherwise known as the Royal Edward Victualling Yard. Built in the early 1900s, this iconic red brick structure was the very first naval supply yard established by the Royal Navy in the Southern Hemisphere, playing a critical role in victualling troops through both World Wars. Following World War II, the entire island shifted focus, operating alongside the neighbouring wharves as a major passenger terminal, welcoming thousands of new migrants. Today, Darling Island has completed its transition into one of the most exclusive premium residential pockets in Sydney. The real estate values here reflect absolute premier waterfront luxury. A typical modern one-bedroom apartment on the island commands around $1.3 million, while standard three-bedroom apartments regularly trade between $3.3 million and $4.4 million. For those seeking ultra-premium space, the grander 270 square metre waterfront residences fetch anywhere from $6 million to over $11.5 million for a premium northern wing or penthouse layout. It is an incredible evolution. What was once a rugged tidal mudflat and later a gritty Navy yard supplying warships, is now a multi-million-dollar sanctuary offering uninterrupted million-dollar views of the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the city skyline.
If these harbor waters could only speak, they'd tell a story of the worn and the weak. A century of iron, of sweat and of coal, the industrial beat of a city's old soul. For thousands of families who sailed through the dark, leaving their past for a new country's mark. Right here on the edge where the tide meets the stone, they took their first steps into the unknown. Oh, the timber and steel of the old finger wharves, they stand where the past and the future cross paths. From the broke and the hopeful who stepped on this shore, to the luxury yachts behind a locked door. The stories we walk through, the changes we see on the waters of Pyrmont where the river runs free. Step past Wharf 7 where the tall ships reside, the James Craig is floating, a ghost on the tide. Then up to Wharves 8 and 9 on the street, where the working class memories and millions now meet. They rebuilt from the seabed glass to the sky, where the old cargo sheds used to watch ships go by. Now a parking spot out on the private marina costs $1 million or more just to sit in the scenery. Oh, the timber and steel of the old finger wharves, they stand where the past and the future cross paths. From the broke and the hopeful who stepped on this shore, to the luxury yachts behind a locked door. The stories we walk through.
As we bring this walk to an end here on the edge of Darling Island, it's incredible to think about the layers of history we've just travelled through. In less than an hour, we've walked the exact path where Sydney transitioned from a rugged indigenous shoreline into a roaring industrial heartland, a crucial gateway for thousands of post-war migrants, and finally into one of the most premium, sought-after waterfront real estate strips in the world. Pyrmont has a unique way of holding on to its past. The massive timber beams of Wharves 8 and 9, the historic brickwork of the Revy, and the heritage fleet at Wharf 7 aren't just relics, they are the foundation of what this neighbourhood has become. It's a place where history doesn't just sit in a museum, you live in it, you commute through it, and you walk right alongside it. Thanks for coming along on this walk with me. If you enjoyed exploring this historic slice of Sydney Harbour, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below on what your favourite spot was, and subscribe for more walks around the city. Until the next one, see ya.